the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Trump just fired his Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem. Guys, this matters.
Senator Markwayne Mullin is now going to take over her job. The president making the announcement on Truth Social just a short time ago. He writes, quote, "I am pleased to announce that the highly respected United States Senator from the great state of Oklahoma, Markwayne Mullin, will become the United States Secretary of Homeland Security effective March 31st of this year. The current secretary, Kristi Noem, who has served us well and has had numerous and spectacular results, especially on the border, will be moving to be Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, which is a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that they're announcing on Saturday at Doral in Florida. The president says, "I thank Kristi for her service at Homeland." So this comes amid reports that the president was none too pleased about the advertising campaign money that came to light during these hearings, Sandra. And so just in the last 24 hours, we've heard a lot of rumors that Markwayne Mullin may be tapped for DHS, and now it appears the president has made that decision, and that's going to happen at the end of the month.
Yeah, there was some reporting leading up to this that this could be the case. No confirmation had been made by the president himself until now, but there was reports of, frustration inside the White House over some of the actions taken on the part of Kristi Noem. Looking at the announcement, though, and looking at the touting President Trump does of Markwayne McMillan's record, 10 years in the U.S. House of Representatives, 3 in the Senate. The president says he's done a tremendous job with the people of Oklahoma. As the president pointed out, somewhere he did very well. So obviously this is breaking news. Just now, President Trump making the formal announcement that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem will be replaced, John.
Will, and also the president taking note of Markwayne Mullin's status as a former undefeated professional MMA fighter, also the only Native American in the Senate. Let's bring in Jackie Heinrich. She's at the White House. The timing of this, I guess, was a little bit of a surprise. We didn't expect it quite this soon, but it was certainly expected.
No, we didn't.
Well, John, this president has been reluctant to shuffle his staff since really early in his second term when he moved National Security Advisor Mike Waltz over to Ambassador of the UN. Since then, he's kept all of his folks sort of in position, weathered whatever criticism comes their way. And Kristi Noem, the DHS Secretary, has faced a turbulent period in the last few weeks amid the fallout, the response to the ICE deportation campaign in Minnesota, some public statements that she made. And then most recently this week, her testimony on Capitol Hill, there were reports that her defense of her campaign, her ad campaign, $200 million in spending that prominently featured her sometimes on horseback, claiming that the president, according to these reports, had approved of that, reportedly upset him. He wasn't happy about giving the impression that he had sort of authorized that amid this broader administration effort to root out fraud. So she's being moved now into another role. The Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere that they're announcing on Saturday. The president's been, defensive of Kristi Noem for the last several weeks as she's faced questions about her ability to carry out her duties. He regularly pointed to the success closing the southern border, the fact that there have been no illegal immigrants caught and released into the interior of the U.S. for several months, the fact that overdoses and murders are at historic lows, and pointed to those successes to sort of boost her up and defend keeping her in place. But it seems like that testimony on Capitol Hill might have been a turning point.
Firstly, it's $220 million. Yes, she has done all these advertisements. She said Trump was basically okay with it. When I saw the testimony, I was like, guys, this is not going to end up well at all. Stop mentioning Trump's name, okay? Because the last thing Trump wants to be associated with is waste. Understand, Trump is the Doge guy, okay? You can't do this. And knowing how Trump is, of course, he's going to immediately be like, listen, we're going to go ahead and get you out of here. I can only imagine the phone call that happened after he saw that.
FEMA funding that was stalled suddenly came through after questioning. And so this is a rapid development, of course, and something we didn't expect until potentially after the midterms. This is a strange time for the president to make that major of a shakeup. But there was, sort of the writing on the wall after he elevated Tom Homan, his border czar, to take a more prominent role in the ICE deportation campaign. It's well reported that there's been a long-standing rift between Homan and Noem about how this should be handled, sort of the firmer approach versus the softer touch that Homan went in and sort of cleaned up amid all of that public scrutiny over what transpired in Minnesota. Of course, the policy still stands. The president's policy and the goal of deporting any illegal immigrant in the country and certainly prioritizing those who are guilty of crimes does still stand. But the president faced questioning about how much he wanted to defend her. And it seems in the past few weeks that that patience might have worn out.
Yeah, it did. You named him.
Yeah, a little
Stop
bit
naming
more
him.
about his replacement. Seems to be how when President Trump made the announcement, the focus seemed to be on his record, Jackie. This is somebody, obviously, he's putting his full support behind in making this announcement.
That's right. And Markwayne Mullin is very well liked. He does a lot of TV. He's articulate and, certainly has a lot of relevant experience. Haven't had a chance to read through everything in this very long truth, darted up to the camera as soon as we saw it come out, or make any calls to any other officials to find out more of what has gone on, sort of the background thinking that we might not know from all of the reports that have surfaced. You tend to read that kind of thing, especially when, in newsletters, with a little bit of a grain of salt, and wonder, sure, you might ask a question of an official or two, but you don't necessarily take it as, Bible verse. So.
Right. Law.
We certainly need to find out what the president's thinking was, and if it was that testimony in Capitol Hill that changed his mind,
Nice.
if Markwayne Mullin, some quality of his made him better positioned for a new policy objective. We still have to get those answers from them, but from just a first blush read of this news, and looking back to the reporting of the last several weeks and months that was critical of Kristi Noem, this is what we know right now.
It was 100% the testimony. Like, if you guys haven't seen it, we're about to play it right now for you guys. What immediately sealed Kristi Noem's fate was this.
$20 million running television advertisements that feature you prominently.
Sir, the president tasked me with getting the message out to the country and to other countries where we were seeing the invasion come from, with putting commercials out that told them that if they were in this country illegally, that they needed to leave, or we would detain them and remove them, and they'd not get the chance to come back to America the right way. That has been extremely effective.
Ask you to run these advertisements, is that right?
We had that conversation, yes, before I was put in this position and sworn in and confirmed, and since then as well.
Okay. Did you bid out those service contracts?
Yes, they did. They went out to a competitive bid, and career officials at the department chose who would do those advertising commercials.
And the people that you ended up picking were people who had formerly done your political work back in South Dakota, is that right?
No, that's not correct, sir.
I think it is.
No, it's not, sir. The individuals who, I believe the careers who they chose were two different media firms. There's been conversation about their subcontractors, but we have no legal authority to look into subcontractors on work like that.
Okay. And you're saying that you're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
That right there was a nail in her coffin. That's it. There's no more than this here. Like, understand, Trump is the Doge guy, right? He's the one that brought Elon Musk in to basically fix government waste. That's what he did here. You understand that? So when you say something like this out loud on TV and then name him, regardless of if it is true or not, like you have to understand the code, okay? If it is true or not, understand the code here. You're not making him look terrible in public. It's okay to spend $220 million on putting your face out there to the public? For what? Bro, how many times have you actually seen large scale, let's say this year, the person who runs Homeland Security? How many times, guys? Is that a thing? Because it's a thing now, apparently. You know, in the age of social media, making yourself famous for some other, I don't know, task you have kind of going down, I don't know, like some type of task you have coming up at some time in your future here. Understand, this is super reminiscent of the super mayor. If you guys know the story of the super mayor, slightly south of Chicago, right? There was a small town. Tiffany Henyard was her name, actually. She was a super mayor, basically known for pilfering the coffers of her city. Financing trips and lavish dinners and advertisements where they were only showing her face on them, right? For the sole purpose of potentially getting name recognition, face recognition, so she can utilize that to launch something else in the future, guys. That's kind of what it always looks like. That's what it looks like. Why are we even looking at government officials, large scale, on TV like that, right? Seriously, you made Trump look bad. He fired you. You understand? God, Trump is a meme. Do you understand that? You're fired. Google it. You're fired. Trump. Look for it. You'll see it immediately. You're fired. He does this for a living, bro. Well, not anymore. But he did this for a living. I don't know how you thought you were going to get away with this. I have no idea. But we'll see this new guy. If I see him, all over the place again, like her, then I'll say, this is just normal. But again, even if it was true, you should not have named Trump, bro. Let's just be honest here. All right? Let's just be honest. This is not South Dakota. All right? He's from New York. I'm from New York. Don't name Trump, bro. Don't put him in your nonsense. But all right, listen. You guys have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and catch you guys later.